All right, hello. Today we're going to be working on section 5.3 again of the book. Our goal is to solve these polynomial equations. See a bunch of them up here with different exponents. And our goal is to be able to factor them apart and then solve those different parts. So just give us a big picture of this. We talked a little bit about this before where if you have x cubes or x to the fourth, if we can break them down into smaller parts, then we should be able to solve those parts. So, for example, in this section, we're going to do a problem like this one that's shown here. And that actually, we're going to learn how to factor it into these two little parts that are shown here, that binomial and that trinomial. And then if we can do that, then we're back in a linear and quadratic world, which we know how to solve already. The linear equation, we can just set it equal to 0 and get our answer of 4, just the way we normally do. And then for the quadratic, the x squared, we might have to use one of these methods over here, right? So we got all these different methods we could possibly try. I don't think factor works for this particular example, but we could try graphing or quad formula. I think actually graph doesn't work here either because it has imaginary answers. But the point being, if you have like an exponent of 3 or more, the idea is you want to factor it apart into smaller parts and then solve those parts. Okay, so in the big picture of all this, we just need to know how to factor, right? So there's all sorts of different types of factoring in these different cases. Some we've already learned, like number 1 is just square minus square, or it's like x squared minus 49. That factors to like x plus 7 and x minus 7, right? So any square thing like x squared minus 100 factors to x plus 10 and x minus 10. Right? That's just like a factor pattern that you have to know about. There'll be more factor patterns that we've got to learn about. Okay, and so the two that are going to be in this lesson are grouping. So I'm going to kind of order this grouping one, and then this sort of x to the fourth pattern, which we'll learn about in a second. Right? Honestly, the hardest part of all this is knowing what to do in each situation. So this slide hopefully is kind of your guide, and then also a note to always check for GCF. Right? That's going to help in a lot of these factor questions. Many of them won't have GCF, but in general, that's a good thing to do. Okay. So this case we're going to do here in a second. I'm going to call this like the grouping case because we're actually going to factor by grouping, which is something we've already done before. All right, so back when we factored a trinomial, like the thing that's shown in blue here, this trinomial over here, back when we factored that, we started by multiplying 2 times 5 to get 10. Right, this is that long factor method because we have the 2 in front that cannot be taken out with a GCF. So we did 5 times 2 to get 10, and then found the two numbers that added to 7. In this case, it's positive 2, positive 5. And then once we had it split, right, we kept these other two parts the same and split the 7. Now we had 4 terms. All right, and when you factor those 4 terms, I pull the GCF out of the front 2, in this case 2x, and the GCF out of the back 2, in this case 5. All right, and then our factors were the parts that were in front, the 2x and the 5 that made one factor, and then the parts that match x plus 1 that made the other factor. Okay, so that's that long factor. Okay, so in our first example on the sheet, we are going to solve this field by factoring it apart. Okay, and the trick is this case will happen when there's 4 terms, 4 parts. Right, and so in theory, we already know how to do this because we did this previously when we did our long factoring. All right, so if you want to do this with me, group these two together, group the back 2, and our GCF out of the front 2 is x squared. Out of the back 2, minus 3. Divide out minus 3 to the back 2. Now it's happy fun times. Looks like these two are matching, so that's a good sign. So we have one factor of x plus 2, and then the other of x squared minus 3. Take whatever is in front. All right, now that we got it broke apart, we have to find the three answers. So this first thing is a quadratic. But we're in luck because we can use algebra steps here. It's just got x squared. Add 3 to both sides. Then take the square root. Right, so we're going to get plus or minus square root. This is some crazy looking decimal. I'm just going to leave it in simplest radical form. All right, the other little factor is linear, so we can just subtract 2 from both sides and get our third answer of minus 2. Okay, so it's called factor by grouping. In theory, we should be okay at it, and the trick is there's 4 terms. That's the name. All right, so I'm going to have you try this one on your page. It should be right on your notes there. And I'll have you pause the video and give it a shot. Okay, hopefully you were able to try this one. And you can just check your answer with me. So 4 terms, right? And so we are going to group front 2 and group the back 2. X squared out of the front. And then in the back, positive 6 can be pulled up. All right, now take what's in front. So x squared plus 6 is one factor, and then the matching x plus 2 make another factor. All right, and if you solve both of these, you can use algebra steps on both of them. So minus 6, and then take the square root. And we'll end up with, if we do our simplest radical form here, this is going to be imaginary numbers. So our answers are going to be square root of 6 plus or minus with an I. Right, so if we break that apart, root 6 and root negative 1, we get square root of 6 with an I. Okay, our other factor, x plus 2 equals 0, just minus 2 from both sides, and we get another answer. So we have 3 total, these first 2, and then negative 2. All right, I do have one more for you here. And if you feel like you got it, you can skip this part and then you can skip on the next section. If not, you can kind of walk through it with me. I'm going to go pretty fast just to save time. Anyways, this one, the only thing that's real different is we have to start by getting 0 on one side. Next, just use GCF. Pull on 2x from the front. Pull on 3 from the back. That's 2x squared from the front side. And then group, so 2x squared plus 3 times x minus 1. And now that it's factored apart, we set each part to 0. And 2x squared plus 3 is 0. Again, we can use algebra steps here. So we can subtract 3 and then divide by 2. Right, so this is going to have imaginary answers, and they're going to look a little weird, but I would just leave it as plus or minus the square root of 1.5 and I. All right, and x minus 1 equals 0 case, so we get an answer of 1. All right, I'm actually going to switch gears at this point. So that was one of our cases. That was the third, number 3 up here, where it was grouping, and there was 4 terms. All right, and so sort of the second part of the lesson on the back of the note sheet is this case where we have an x to the 4th, an x squared, and then a constant term. All right, so when you see this pattern, there's like sort of a special way to factor. Right, it's going to have 4 answers with some special factors. Okay, so when you have x to the 4th, it's in 3 terms. Think of this case that I have written over here on the right. So when we factored these 3 terms, we just took and put x and x here to give us the x squared. Found what multiplied to minus 4, but added up to minus 3. So it's just one and -4. So we have x plus 1, x minus 4. And that's how we were able to factor on the right-hand side there. So this situation is really similar. It's got 3 terms. Right, and the only thing that's really different is it's an x squared instead of an, it's an x to the 4th instead of an x squared. Okay, so when we factor it, it's going to look really, really similar. And I bet you can almost think about this and figure it out. Instead of having x and x right there, we're going to have x squared and x squared. Right, that will give us that x to the 4th. All right, and then the rest of it will actually be the same. We have to multiply us to -4 and add it to -3. So we plus 1 and then -4. And so we factored really, really similar to the x squared pattern on the right. The only thing different is it went x to the 4th, x squared, and then constant. So we use x squared and x squared instead of x. All right, so to get our 4 answers, once it's factored apart, we can set the parts to 0. And we're in luck again because algebra steps will work. So we subtract 1 from both sides and then take the square root. So square root of -1, that's our definition for I. And because it's square root plus or minus, add 4 here and then square root. So square root of 4 is just plus or minus 2. So we get 4 answers, plus or minus I. Plus or minus. All right, last question then for you. I'm gonna have you pause the video again and try this, and then when you're done, hit go on the video again and check it. All right, so first step is -36 from both sides. Okay, and now we've got our 3 terms with that same pattern where it starts with x to the 4th. So I'm just going to factor it and put x squared and x squared. It has to multiply to -36 now, the other 2 numbers. Multiply -36 and add up to -5. Because it's -36, I know it has to be one positive and one negative factor. And then I'm just going to write 1 and 36, 2 and 18, that doesn't work yet. 3 and 12, no dice yet. 4 and 9, I think that's going to work. Those are 5 apart. So if we use the 9 is negative, the 4 is positive, that should work. And now just set each little factor to 0. So x squared plus 4 equals 0, x squared minus 7 equals 0. Okay, and now we just do our math that even a principal can do. Minus 4 on both sides. Take the square root. Okay, and the square root of -4 is going to be 2i. It's an imaginary number. And plus or minus. Second one, I think we'll have real answers when we add 9. Then we'll be taking the square root of a positive number. So our answer will be 2 real numbers, plus or minus the square root of 3. Actually, we have 4 answers to this quartic equation. All right, so that's all I got for you. Once you're done with this video, you can start on the homework. Just a big picture of where we're going, right? We're doing a bunch of factoring stuff. Today we covered this grouping case, which has 4 terms. And then the second case, and watch for that when it goes x to the 4th, x squared, and then that's where you'll recognize this case. All right, so this homework is kind of a big assignment, but it's for the next couple days, so it won't be due till Friday. And the other note here quick is that to skip 10 through 12, because